Hello again, YouTube. I'm back with another soundtrack review. To keep things short, I'm going to cut right to the chase. Today I'm going to be reviewing Sonic 2 for the Sega Genesis. Now this soundtrack was composed by Masato Nakamura. And an interesting fact about this, he intentionally designed all of the levels' music to be based on the atmosphere that the level is in. And you're going to notice that as a recurring theme through the songs. A couple of the major things about this soundtrack, you're going to find that the percussion and the bass stand out really well in a lot of the songs, and sometimes even wrest control away from the more leading instruments. There's quite a few diverse instruments as well. You see ones such as pan flute, Arabian flute. There's a couple others, but we'll get to those when we actually get into the songs. The main thing about the Sonic soundtracks is energy. It's a game about going fast, blazing through the levels. On occasion there's slow parts involving combat, but for the most part it's all about speed. And the soundtrack isn't incredibly fast, and it doesn't need to be, but it packs the energy needed. A perfect example is shown right in the first level, Emerald Hill Zone, so we'll go ahead and listen to that right now. Now, to me, this is a better song than Green Hill Zone from Sonic 1. The song is identifiable just by the first two notes. It's sort of like the Super Mario Bros. Theme song. I think this is the quintessential level theme for Sonic the Hedgehog games. It opens with a nice burst of energy and leads into a somewhat mellow but also energetic. It's sort of an easing in song to the rest of the game. It keeps a nice, consistent rhythm. Now, next one I want to cut to is one of my favorite tracks in the game, Chemical Plant Zone. Now, the reason why I favor this one so much, it's almost got kind of like a funk dance vibe. The short little interruptions you find in the song, they really help accentuate the beat. And I find this section really projects that well. It's overall a completely different tune from Emerald Hill Zone. It's energy in a different sense than what you'd find in the rest of the game, I believe. Aquatic Ruin Zone, and we'll listen to that right now. See, there's the pan flute that I was talking about. It's a really good instrument to use for this particular area. I mean, it gives the vibe of an ancient civilization long gone, and pan flute sort of embodies that. I mean, it's kind of a shame you don't hear the pan flute throughout the rest of the song except during the intro. But the song does create the atmosphere very well. There's even a couple of nice segments right in the middle and the end of the loop. Now, I know a lot of people like this particular song, and that's Casino Night Zone. If Masato Nakamura really wanted to make the soundtracks similar to the atmosphere of the area, he hit the nail on the head with Casino Night Zone. This song gives the atmosphere of a gaming hall. It's got a light, bouncy tune to it, but also maintains the energy that should be consistent with the Sonic games. I mean, this doesn't say go fast, but it says go and go and go. Now, we are going to hit a low point here for Hilltop Zone. Some of you might agree, I don't necessarily know. This is probably the weakest levels music in the game. Levels are supposed to have energy. They're supposed to encourage you to go fast. Even the drum, even the percussion doesn't give you any energy at all. The song stops dead. It's a complete break of momentum from the rest of the soundtrack. I don't care for this one at all. Now, I decided to include this one because the game was released on iOS with this level finished. If you don't recognize that, that's Hidden Palace Zone. It wasn't used in the Genesis version as the level was scrapped prior to release. Honestly, you're not missing a whole lot though. I don't know the context of the level, but this kind of seems like music that would be ideal for endgame. Again, same with Hilltop Zone, it just kills any momentum of speed that the soundtrack has. Now, one that I really like, and I know a lot of Sonic fans really like this song too, Boss Theme. Now this is one of the songs where I find the percussion really does a service to the song. You get the rhythmic 4-beat pattern that occasionally kicks in with lower sound. It varies up the song nicely. And what makes the song really good is it's a short, simple loop. It's the same sequence repeated a few times, and that would normally make a song go stale. That wouldn't make it good. But it builds in intensity. And just after it hits its crescendo, it eases into an effective bridge to complete the loop, at which point it resets itself. I figure just about any battle is entertaining with this music. Now, another one where I find the bass and percussion really do a service to the song is in the special stage. Now, like I said at the beginning of this review, sometimes the percussion and bass actually rest dominance for your ears away from the other instruments. And this is totally true. It takes about half a song for the bass to fade into the background, but the loop is just so catchy. You'll hear it all the time by then. The song opens with what can only be described as a race. The sound effects right at the beginning, yes, that is perfect for a race. The percussion's really good in this too, but I think the bass is what makes this song. Now, I'm not going to play it, but if you've heard the Invincible tune from Sonic 2, it's actually a really good tune. It's not nearly as iconic as, say, a Starman, and I only compare the two because the two were in direct competition with one another. But it makes you feel empowered, and that's what an invincibility tune is supposed to do. It's that sudden rush of energy and power before it fades away. Now, Mystic Cave Zone. Let's play this one. As soon as the song opens, you can tell it's going to have a creepy vibe to it. And that's totally true. The song immediately gives you the feeling of horror. Not so much horror, but cheesy Halloween horror. It definitely fits a cave. Now, I haven't gone over most of the two-player songs, but I do want to touch on Mystic Caves. Now, I'm hoping some of you will agree with me on this. This song, I think, would be perfect for Hilltop Zone. It gives the illusion of high-speed ruin run. It packs a lot more energy than Hilltops, no question. Now, a divisive one for me is Oil Ocean. I love the Arabian flute at the beginning. I don't know why Nakamura chose an Arabian flute for an oil rig. I can kind of picture a reason. Just like the Special Zone, this is a song where bass and percussion completely take dominance. That really low bass riff that's persistent throughout the song, it's just so catchy. I mean, only thing is, the song lacks a lot of energy to it. And the Arabian flute doesn't really add a whole lot. Yes, it's a nice, unique use of the instrument, implementing it into the Sonic soundtrack, but it's underutilized. The bass just dominates the whole song. That's not a bad thing. One of my bigger disappointments with the soundtrack is Metropolis Zone. I only really care for the first few seconds of it, and sort of like Oil Ocean, I feel like they implemented a new instrument, and that would be the disc scratch, but it completely fades away for the rest of the song. You can't even... It's difficult to hear throughout the song, and it gets lost in the rhythm. It loses focus. Now, Sky Chase Zone and Wing Fortress Zone, I won't go over those. I'm trying to keep the video a little bit shorter. Sky Chase Zone is more of a free-flying, pie-in-the-sky, devil-may-care tune. It's very relaxing, very mellow, which, despite being at odds with the rest of the soundtrack, it perfectly suits the area. If anything, Sky Chase Zone kind of plays more like a shmup than a Sonic game. And Wing Fortress Zone, yes, that very much suits an airship very well. If anything, it's like an evolution of Sky Chase Zone. Death Egg Zone, I felt was a bit anticlimactic. Yes, the song is building towards a final boss, and it's a good song, but there's just not enough to it. You know what? Let's actually go ahead and listen a little bit. So it does pack that energy needed for a Sonic game. But I feel like the song doesn't really go anywhere. That, and you don't listen to the song very long before you get into Metal Sonic, and then he demands all of your focus. Last one I'm going to touch on, actually, is the final boss. Now, this song, its saving grace is the percussion. Without it, the song wouldn't have any energy or it wouldn't sound like anything else from the Sonic soundtrack. It's an evolution of the boss theme. You can see it, if you play them side by side, the percussion's very similar. If anything, this song is designed to be a little bit slower because it's supposed to be intimidating. It's supposed to give the impression of a powerful foe. It's so different because the composer wanted you to know it was the final fight. There are a few pitfalls with the soundtrack, a couple disappointments. Metropolis Zone was one of my bigger ones. Same with Hilltop Zone. There are quite a few soundtracks here that are definitely worth listening to. Just download them. I highly suggest Chemical Plant, the boss theme, Special Stage is another big one. And even throw Oil Ocean Zone in there. It's also a really good track. Despite its pitfalls, I want to give the soundtrack a 7 out of 10. I do recommend it for leisure listening. It's a solid soundtrack. If you ask me, it's even better than the first Sonics. If not for a couple of the songs, it would be 8 or 9. Anyways, I'm hoping you enjoyed my first review on a non-Nintendo game. I mean, I grew up with a Genesis, not a Super Nintendo. And if you happen to like my video, give me a like, hit subscribe. Again, leave suggestions in the comments. I would love to review another soundtrack on request. Thank you so much for watching.